Alright. Awesome. Abbas, how's it going?
Pretty good, man.
Yeah, I hate that we have to pretend like we're meeting after a while. So yeah, note to producer, please, let's keep it more cash next time. But yeah, so Abbas, first things first, I know you as the bass player of Godless. I know you as a sound engineer for a bunch of bands. I also know you as a sound vendor. I also know you as an event organizer. So you tell me how you got into all of this.
I forgot that there's so many things actually.
Yeah.
But
and an educator.
Oh yeah, that you know.
Yeah, that's
But I think it started off with playing music, and so I joined this band called Skrypt back in 2007.
Hyderabad.
Yeah, Hyderabad.
Shout out to Skrypt.
Yeah. So in 2007 we were together for about 8 to 9 years, and while I was in the band, we wanted to record and release some music, and there were no studios that would knew how to record metal or even a rock band, for that matter. No place to actually take a drum kit. No one had drum mics. It was that kind of scene. So, and I wanted to learn. That's how basically just out of wanting to record music for my own band, I got interested in sound. So I went up to went to SAE Bombay, studied there. The idea was to come back and set up a studio. But while I was studying there, I did a lot of research. I used to do my own homework as well, and I had set up like a little home recording studio. And with that, I recorded and we released our first EP with Skrypt. And eventually, when I finished studying, came back to Hyderabad, and like as a temporary thing, I knew somebody who owned a sound rental company. So I got in touch with him, told him like, okay, do you need an engineer? I'm looking to work for a short while. And he said, yeah, you can start like. Can you come today? I'm like, yeah, okay. I went to the venue, and he told the staff at the venue that I'm sending an engineer.
Okay.
I don't know how to mix it. I've studied audio, like never had live sound experience.
Right.
It's a digital mixer. I have no clue how to manage this, this thing, but like whatever, somehow managed to not ruin that show.
Right.
And then I just joined that company and started working with them like full time. Then I realized that this is something that this is a lot more interesting than the studio work based in Hyderabad.
The live
sound. Yeah. Because if I had to set up a studio, my work would primarily be working for the kind of, doing what other studios did, which is work for Telugu movies with language I don't understand, and just dub stuff all the time and terrible Tollywood songs.
Right.
So I didn't want to get involved with that. So I worked for that company for 2 years. Eventually set up my own. After 2 years, I decided it's time to move on and probably set up my own thing, because I just saw the end of growth with the company. So I started off really small. Just bought 2 monitors, small analog mixer, and then just whatever money we kept hiring it out, and then whatever money we made as a company, just invested it back into the company till we grew to a significant point.
Right.
So that's how I got into music. I got into music, then I got into
playing, and then the live sound, and then also
then eventually started my own company.
Right. But you also organize a lot of shows, and I think festival also in Hyderabad. Right?
That actually came out of necessity again, because when I started up my own company, first we had like this barely like 2.5 mics, and 2-3 speakers, and a mixer, and had to try and get business. So I walked up to venues, and I used to just try and get hold of the manager or the owner of the bar, and get in touch with them and tell them like, do you want to do some events here? We'll do the sound setup for it. You pay for the sound, and we'll organize the event, promote it, get you artists, do everything for free. We don't need to charge for that, because that doesn't involve any this thing for us.
Right.
Like, it just takes a bit of time, but we had all the time in the world because there's no events happening.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was like a add-on freebie that we kind of threw in as a company, and that's how started doing like this weekly. I actually started working with this bar called Extreme Sports Bar. They had 4 or 5 outlets in Hyderabad.
Right.
So we used to have like 4 or 5 shows a week, charging like peanuts, whatever, but load the equipment in the back of the car, go there, set it up, and then call the artist. Artist would come there, play, perform. When you paid the artist, and we charged only for a sound, and the extra services came free of charge.
Right.
That's how I got into the events side. Then from there, these were just acoustic gigs. From there, it started off and then got bigger, went up to like getting a band down from. In fact, one of the first rock bands we got down was from Sam, which was Family Cheese.
Family Cheese.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got them down because I would work with them with my previous company. So
Okay.
every time they came to Hyderabad, they wanted me to mix for them.
Right.
So they got in touch with me to do sound for them for a few gigs here and there. And then from there obviously like I'm from the metal scene, metal background. I've always wanted to do metal gigs. And like organizing a metal gigs came out of necessity because no one else was doing it. If somebody does it, I would gladly like just stop doing it because it's just too much
Right.
stress and headache and honestly not really. Like you end up losing more money than you
Yeah,
make.
yeah.
But yeah, that's
So
how.
most of this was basically out of necessity because you didn't see the opportunity, so you kind of create
Yeah,
the
exactly.
opportunity. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I've been spending time with the entire band Godless, and one of the things that really came to my notice is how you guys kind of function almost like, of course it's a band, but also kind of like a company wherein like, okay, you handle the merch, you handle the social media, you handle the let's say the tech rider for the show, you handle the finances or whatever.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about that and how important it is for bands to kind of think beyond just, okay, what songs are we playing and what's the set list, like beyond that.
Right. See, I mean, being a great musician, and I'm not saying any of us are, but like being a good musician and writing great music is a very, very small part of being in a band. And this we kind of I learned this from my previous band. So when we wanted to form Godless, the idea was to learn from Skrypt was formed when like we were all teenagers. Like everyone was like, we were like about 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like literally we were all like 1 year older than the other person. And we kind of just learned on the job pretty much, you can say. We just figured out things and we used to get calls from promoters. We didn't know how things worked really. And I just the managerial responsibility just fell upon me like just by chance. Like, it was like, oh, you talk to the guys, you're okay with talking to people and all that. It's like, okay. And then basically made a lot of mistakes obviously because we didn't know how to manage things. Let a lot of people take advantage of us, be like, yeah, you want to play? Yeah, we don't need money, just pay us in other substances. Like
Right. It's basically a barter is what.
Exactly. We didn't really care about money and charging and stuff like that. But we eventually found out that like, hey, you guys played here last year. How much would you guys like to charge? I was like you guys charged this much last year. Like we didn't charge last year.
Yeah.
And we found out that someone else charged on our behalf. So that was like,
that's horrible though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the same promoter called us directly, which is Pranathi at that point.
Right.
So got a call from the organizer who did this charity event the previous year. So we're like, a charity event, why would we charge? And then next year we were told that we had charged. And we're like, really?
Yeah.
But anyway, we went on with the gig. And then whatever, there are a lot of things that you learn on how to have a press kit, how to have a tech rider, understand that you have a certain requirement that you need the organizer to fulfill. So you put that down over email or messages or whatever that is.
Right.
So learned all of that, and then when forming Godless, I realized that I wanted to not repeat the same mistakes and get everything have everything very streamlined right from the beginning.
Right.
We realized that this is what we need to do. This is what, and obviously one person can't do everything. So we have to divide the responsibilities among the band. Yeah, whoever's strength. Kaushal is good at social media or whatever this thing. Like I have one advantage. I can do this. Moise is good at shipping stuff out or this thing, checking email. Vishnu is good at turning up sometimes. So whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, we figured. Divide responsibilities among ourselves. And that's very, very essential as a band because you need to have that thing especially when you're traveling and touring. When you have. And say you're touring abroad, you have like a 20-30 day tour. There's a lot of responsibilities and you can't let the burden be shifted tilt in any one direction, and it needs to be evenly balanced.
Yeah. So speaking of touring, like obviously like you guys are, I would say Godless is probably one of the fewer metal bands from India that have like gone and toured Europe. I know there have been few bands, but still it's like a lot. It's a lot lesser than the actual number of bands that are actually here.
Right, yeah.
I think it's a very small percentage of bands that get to go tour Europe and all.
Right.
And obviously Godless did that pretty successfully, and then not only that, but you also then got these guys. What was the name? Divide.
Yeah.
From there, and you organized an Indian tour
Right.
with them. How was that experience? And yeah, first of all, how was that experience?
Of getting them over or going
Both,
there?
like
Okay.
going there and doing you were just telling the
I
30
mean,
day
it
tour.
was incredible to say the least, actually, because you're there in a brand new country, playing in front of new audiences every day, like you don't know anybody there, and it's just like always, it's way more exciting to play in front of new people. Like after playing in India, like over so many years, like you go to any city, it's like just playing a hometown gig.
Right.
So now you want to push yourself to be better and play better and be a bit more nervous or excited, if you want to call it that, even, because every time you get on stage you want to feel that excitement of being on stage. I mean, I'm not saying you don't feel that here also, but you wanted to take it to the next level, and that's how it was for us to go there and play once again. And then now, while we were in Europe, we toured with Divide, and we did I think a 19 city tour in 22 days. It was quite hectic, but we became like super good friends after that. Because it's just the 6-7 of us in one van, like throughout, like for like 21 days non-stop. Like you stay in the same room pretty much. You stay in the same van. You're in the same venue playing. Try and run away for 1 hour to just get your alone time at some point.
Yeah.
Just walk and explore the city, because you don't even spend 24 hours in each city. But it's a great experience. The feeling of playing there, playing live, and just playing your music. Like at the end of it, like you've created something and you want to take that to new audiences, and that was amazing. And then, like I said, we were really good friends, and like just been in talks. We stay in touch, like always. So now we decided, okay, let's do an India tour. This was actually planned back then. Like the Europe tour was in 2019, around September. In September, yeah. After that, we planned on getting them down here in August the following year, but then the pandemic hit.
COVID.
Yeah, and then just
Everything
the
got
talks
pushed
just
by
stopped
2
after
years.
that. Yeah. But last year I went down to Europe to watch a few festivals and caught up with the guys from Divide as well. And this whole tour just happened. I think the plan happened in like about 15 minutes. Like, hey, you guys still want to come to India? Like, yep. And I was like, what dates do you want to do this? Like this day to this day. They had like a fixed schedule that they're available. European bands usually are a lot more organized because their work schedules are a lot more rigid. So they know that this time to this time is when they are available, and they can't the rest of the time. So they have these. They gave us these exact 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, fine, let me start booking gigs. And I was still in Europe while I started booking the tour. Yeah, and just worked out really well.
Yeah, I mean those. I saw the Chennai gig, and it was like really awesome.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there are a lot of Indian bands Indian metal bands that have this question, and I hope you answer this. But talk to me about the finances of a metal band wanting to tour in Europe.
Right. So you see, like bands here, like I mean, in India, generally are very spoiled. You think you can demand you can actually. You can ask for specific drum kits or whatever, your tech rider, your basic requirements. Here you can ask for it. You can ask for a 1 hour or 2 hour sound check as a metal band still. And then there's things are kind of like served on a platter over here to us as well. So we are very spoiled right from the beginning. But when you go abroad, like you have to carry your own drum kit, you have to carry your own backline, you have to carry everything, you have to drive yourself. The venue is not going to pay you just to come and play that one show. They'll be like, they'll probably give you the door, like the doors, like how much you make from the entries. You charge whatever you want. But that's what you make.
So you as the band would just decide like, okay, let's charge, whatever, 10 euros, 100 euros, or whatever.
Exactly, whatever you think would pay, and you get good turnout with. That's your. So there it's very different. You come with your own backline, you come with your own drum kit, you come with your own stage amps.
And all this is in that van that you're talking about.
Yeah,
right?
you unload. So basically, your job is like, you reach if you're driving, you drive, or you hire a driver. The driver drives you, takes you to the venue. You reach the venue, you unload all your backline, you unload all your merch, you set up the backline. While you set up the backline, the sound guy is setting up the mics and everything else. I mean, they give you the basic, the PA, the mixer, and the mics, and all that are provided by the venue. The sound engineer, the crew does that. While they do that, we set up the merch. By the time we finish setting up the merch, it's time for sound check. So you set up the sound, you do a sound check, and then you might have an hour or two maybe in between. And then the gates open and the crowd starts coming in, so you have to be around there again with the merch.
Right.
But that's how a gig works. So the finances for this are based on like now you get paid from each gig, like the number of people that turn up. Now, depending on how much you agree to pay the opening band, if you do have local support, you agree to pay them, but then you have to pay for your transport, you have to pay for your accommodation if you need
Right
to.
from here, right? Like
Yeah,
first
right from
things
here.
first, you book your own flights,
Yeah.
fly to some place in Europe, and then
Yeah, and bands, people, you know what the misconception is? People think like bands like Metallica get paid to come and play. They don't. They book their own tours. They do this, do it the same way, but they're just a much bigger band. They know that these many people will come, so they sing. So they organize their own tours. They book the arenas where they want to play. They have their own. They have the crew that comes. They drive down from. They have like about probably 4 to 8 trucks that drive down from one venue to the other. So you have to plan out the whole thing, regardless of how big or small you are.
So it's basically like the same thing, but everything is just larger
Much
scale
larger
for
scale,
them.
of course, yeah.
You might be booking a club, they might be booking an arena, you are going in one van, they have 4 trucks of just equipment going, out of which there are probably like 100 guitars and,
and we
probably
carry
like 15 snares that all sound the same.
No, there's one Saint Agatha. But yeah, you have to. We have to carry our own backline, and they
Lars Ulrich, I love you.
They have people who can carry the gear for them, so it's just it's different. But like it's I mean the concept is the same, but it's just about the bigger you get, the more you can afford to go extravagant with your setups.
Right. No, so like how do the finances work in terms of, let's say I have a band here and I want to plan something, and I've gotten the contacts down, I've spoken to my people.
Right.
How do I make all this money back? Is it mostly through the gate? Is it a lot through the merch? Is it a combination of both? How much merch do you carry? How do you plan? Stuff like that.
So it actually is a combination of both. So you try and cover all your costs. I mean, as much as possible from the venue. Like promote the gigs well enough, because the thing is, another thing that becomes difficult is when you're on tour. Like even if it's an India tour, for example, if you're playing like 8-9 cities or 10 cities here in India, it's difficult to divide your attention between each city, because you're one band who's playing, and you don't want to be spamming people and be like, like it has to be, each show has to be promoted. So ideally you try and work with a local promoter there who has a network there, and he will promote it, and he probably takes a cut out of it, like whether it's 10-15%, whatever it is. But what that guarantees you is that you get that extra bit of promotion from a local person,
right?
And you don't have to pay attention, because you cannot divide your attention.
One less thing you need to focus on. Right.
So that's how, so you make your money from the doors. You, whatever the percentage, this much comes in from the doors, plus merch. Merch is a very, very big thing that you, merch is where you try and recover most of your money.
Would you sell your merch a little more expensive in Europe than in India?
Yeah, definitely. Because people can afford to pay more there, and also generally like the merch prices, like what bands charge there are about 50, anyway, from 15 to 25 euros for a t-shirt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's that's I would say about 50% more.
Yeah, exactly. Here, I mean, you charge about 1,000 rupees a t-shirt.
$1,000 a t-shirt is what
about
you,
like 12 euros.
Right.
So I mean, there's a bit of a difference.
Okay.
And then obviously CDs and vinyls and stuff like that, you take that and whatever. Merch is a very big thing. So you want to make sure you get like good visibility. You set up a good table with merch and always stick around there. Someone from the band's always there to make sure, like talk to people. People walk past, they just want to look at something. Yeah, but hustling merch is a big thing.
Sure. Yeah. Let's switch lanes to the actual music part of it. So how does the songwriting work in Godless?
So we've usually with in Godless, we've always worked on the music at I think like the structure, the skeleton of the song comes out. We work it out at home. So someone writes a riff and like just structures a bit of it, and then come jams with the drummer, and then like just riff out, like just you obviously make some tweaks and stuff when you're jamming with the drummer, and you might get some more ideas at the rehearsal space, but majority of it is done at home. Because now technology is come to a point where you can record, program everything, and we're like the band scattered all over the country, not in the same city as well.
Right.
So it became a little difficult that way, but like but I think we got used to. We've been doing this for a while now.
So even though everyone's in different cities, you are able to do it.
Yeah, it's the same way as how we started off.
Yeah.
So the come in with the riff, the vocals come in last. So we structure the song, we record the scratch, just a scratch demo with like the drums, or program the drums very similar to what is going to be like finally, because the vocals in metal are very percussive as well. So the drums are very important to know where the snare comes in and where the kick comes in. So according to that, the Kaushal just comes in at the end and figures out the lyrics, and then the song's basically done and ready to take live.
Right. Awesome. What's next with Godless?
Next we're playing this festival in Bangalore on the 1st of April. Well, Bangalore opening with a sick lineup. They've announced a couple of international bands, some Indian bands as well. The main headliners yet to be announced.
Okay.
But we're looking forward to playing that because we played there in 2018, which was the last edition that was held.
Right.
2019? Sorry, 2019. Sorry, 2019 was the last edition that was held, and it was a blast. It was one of the most fun gigs we played in India.
Sure.
This time I'm sure to be.
That's the one with the DV. I mean the YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
The video.
Yeah, we have a couple of live
short
videos
video,
from there. And this time we're planning on taking things up a notch. We want to keep things interesting for ourselves as well. So we are trying to just add a little bit more stage production, like just obviously play tighter, a new set as well. And we want to record the entire set and see how that goes and maybe put that out as some new content. And then after that, we'll look at more touring as well, looking at different countries as well, maybe some new countries this time, new continents maybe this time. So we'll figuring that out. And we have another international gig lined up for next month, which hasn't been announced yet. So once that is announced, we'll post it up on our pages.
Yeah, awesome. And what's in the horizon for Abbas, for you personally? Like personally meaning like, let's just say outside Godless.
Right. I'm coming back to Sam next month.
Right.
So that's here, but I never really planned too far ahead, honestly. I keep planning on shifting cities, shifting countries.
Right.
So I don't know honestly don't know what's planned next. But I think my life usually revolves around the music and the band. And just having a good time wherever I am. So I'm here. I love being here at Sam. It's a blast here always. Pondicherry's around the corner, so weekends I'm there. And then go back to Hyderabad, have a good time. Be there.
It's literally that side, Pondicherry.
Yeah, the side pointed in the right direction. Then I'll be there for the weekend. Come back here, teach here. Teaching's been great actually. I'm really enjoying it.
Have you taught before though?
No, never.
No. Yeah, but I mean, like you're
one of my
natural.
I don't know. It's been good. I don't know if it's good or not, but for them, the students, but for me, it's been great.
Yeah.
But it's been it's been really fun actually, and it's just good to brush up on things that I studied many years ago actually. When I studied now I think it's about 15 years now when I studied all this. And some because I've my line of work was a lot more narrow. I went completely into live sound, but there's a lot more to sound than apart just live sound. There's like studio work, there's radio, TV, and even acoustics and stuff like that. So there are things that I didn't really brush up on a lot. So I had to relearn.
You have to brush up the stuff that you're not really used.
I haven't used in a while. So that was actually quite fun, and I actually enjoyed that part. And I realized why I got into this field is because I enjoy sound. I enjoy learning about sound. So I had to do that, and that was good. That was a good change over the last 2-3 months after I joined Sam. But apart from that, go back to Hyderabad, look into the business, expand a bit more, buy some new gear.
Yeah.
I got into this business, I think, because I like buying gear. It's like a good hobby. Like I like buying guitar amps, so I was like...
Yeah. No, I think we can do a separate video on that. Yeah. Just like rig rundown of Abbas.
I don't even know what my rig would be. But so that's... buy some new mixers, new PA, establish the business a bit more. Just have a good time with doing whatever I do, basically.
Awesome, man. Yeah. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks, man.
All right, Vishnu.